Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where we get together every week to tell you stuff.
Right.
I'm
So here
Josh
we
and this
are,
is Brad.
telling you stuff.
Yes, I just told you that I'm Josh and I told you that he is Brad, and he told you that we are telling you stuff, which we are. Which is what you come here to watch, is us telling you stuff. So, as usual, we're going to start off with highlights of the week, go over the new releases, the upcoming titles if there are any, and there are some.
Hey, the highlight of the week is that there are new releases.
Yes, that is a highlight, yes. So why don't we start with you as usual, and if there was anything significant or interesting that you did this week?
Well, significant or interesting, I've been paying attention to people that have actually gotten the V15 update and installed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's leading me to a problem, because now I'm debating between buying the Quest games or holding out and actually buying the PC VR game and streaming it to my headset. It's a good problem to have, but it actually has become one that I'm now considering. It's like, okay, if I could buy this one and have it self-contained, or am I better off with a Shadow or a PC VR, if you happen to have one,
Right.
and buy the more expensive one and get the graphic capability in the headset. So something I never really had to consider before because there wasn't that much availability. But between what's available now and the XR, its ability to support XR, something that's become more for me to consider. So now when I see games coming out, I sort of hesitate. I used to be the first one to push purchase. I'd be there.
Or to push Michael too?
Well, right. Well, Michael, I didn't really have to push very hard. I mean,
No.
Mikey was pretty much waiting for the clock to hit the right time for Chad to post the sales of the day, which I guess for the last couple of weeks they've been busy not doing. I have been following the reviews of Down the Rabbit Hole, and I have been following the reviews of The Room, and they're both getting excellent reviews on the website.
Right.
And just a little bit of discussion as to, which one you'd rather play. They both seem to be puzzle-oriented. One's a little longer than the other. The teleport thing has come up again. Do you want to teleport? Do you want to walk around? What's the right method of movement? But they both have my interest, and I'm pretty sure I'll jump on at least one of them.
Okay.
But just haven't made the move yet this week.
Right. Well,
How about you?
Well, I got Down the Rabbit Hole and I got The Room VR. I talked about them more in the new release section of the show. I also spent some time yesterday participating as a camera bot for a 24-hour English lesson in VR stream. It was being live streamed for most of it, and it took place in AltSpace and in Engage, kind of hopping back and forth between them. And it was a fundraising event to help raise money to combat COVID-19 and get supplies to the hospitals and all that. So that was interesting. I had to wake up much earlier than I wanted to yesterday because it started at 5 a.m. my time, and they wanted me in there at 7 recording. And because of the recent changes with Shadow, how you can only be idle for like half an hour and then it kicks you out. I didn't necessarily want to be sitting there in every 10, 20 minutes going with the mouse. You know, I was going to try using just locally on my laptop. So I rebooted my laptop just to make sure that it was fresh and all that. And then AltSpace had an update. And so 7:20, I finally get in there. And then I have to log out of me, log back in, have the camera bot account. 7:25, I'm actually in there starting the recording.
I'm assuming that was the problem then and not during this recording.
Yes. The audio was like that the entire time. So I'm like, oh, this is why I use Shadow. And the streaming to YouTube wasn't working.
Oh, yeah.
Because he'd wanted me to record and to stream, and I was on there for 2 hours. The 7 o'clock hour and the 8 o'clock hour. So 7:50, I managed to get Shadow up and running and got in there on Shadow, and everything went smooth, except that I had to stay there and periodically move the mouse so I didn't get kicked out. But
okay, well, at least you tried.
YouTube streaming going, so I just recorded.
Right.
But
that's great.
But no, that was yeah. And I also played around with using Air Server so that I could cast to my laptop and then use OBS to stream. And I was using Restream, which is supposed to be able to restream to many streaming services at the same time. I have it set up to do Twitch and YouTube. It was not going to YouTube, but it was going to Twitch. So I was streaming on Twitch and not on YouTube.
Yeah.
It puts it on there, but it puts it on there as an upcoming stream, and I couldn't figure out how to say go live on this stream. You have a stream incoming, So it made a spot for the stream, but then it didn't actually connect and stream. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. I need to research and figure it out, but.
Right. It sounds like you said they got an invitation. It knows that it's supposed to be cloned, right, but it's not cloning. So
right. So I did my first test of that with a admittedly clickbaity title. Hiding from the coronavirus in Paris wasn't a good idea. And I was playing Project Terminus Prologue, where you are in Paris, but a lot of people have died because of a roving cloud of nanites.
That came out a while ago. I remember when that came out.
Yeah, I hadn't played the prologue yet. I had played the demo before, where there were no enemies except for the roving cloud of nanites. But now there are also zombies that are controlled by the nanites.
Okay. How's the graphics on that?
Beat them with a crowbar. Half-Life stuff.
I was going to say, I guess Half-Life Alyx rises again. Where did they get that idea?
Well, they are marketing it as having Half-Life vibes. It's got Half-Life vibes because you start in a subway car that then crashes. And you end up with a crowbar, and you have to crawl through vents. And
yeah, it's not like I've ever run into a crowbar in any of the other games I've played. It's
yeah. So, anyways, those were some of my highlights of the week. Now moving on to new releases, as we already hinted at. We have the Room VR, Dark Matter. We have Down the Rabbit Hole. We have B Team as well, and we have Color Space. And on the PC VR end, of course, we have Half-Life Alyx.
Oof. Which actually, I think, topped the charts.
Game, and you should totally not play it.
Oh, absolutely. According to all the reviews, which haven't come out because nobody's going to come away from the game long enough to write a really good review.
Upload VR has made the whole game available as a cinematic, episodic replay of videos. So if you don't have a gaming PC but you want to know the story, you can go there and watch it like it's a Netflix thing. So.
Oh, okay. If you can watch it in the headset and pick up a crowbar every now and then and swing it along with the character, it's play along.
She doesn't use a crowbar.
Oh.
No crowbars.
No crowbars?
Nope. She has guns and she has a multi-tool.
Ooh, the multi-tool. Interesting. Multipass? Is she related to Lulu? That's her sister.
You got my reference.
Yeah, let's see now. Everybody else is going, what are they talking about?
Talk about The Fifth Element. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a great movie.
Oh, yeah, perfect. If you haven't seen it, it's a great one.
Bada big boom.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Room VR. That's a long form escape room VR puzzler sort of game. It's got a story and it's got puzzles that you have to solve in order to progress in the story and get from one room to another room. If you've ever played the Room on your mobile device, then you know what this is. It's just now you are in the game instead of interfacing through your phone or your tablet with it. So it is a teleport only game. Theo, I'm doing a podcast, bud. Excuse that interruption.
What interruption? I didn't see anything.
So it is a teleport only game, which not everybody really likes, but it kind of makes sense in this game. Because if there are too many places you can go that have nothing to do with the puzzle, it might get people so frustrated with the game and going, I can't solve this puzzle. Well, that's because you never went over there. So I can kind of understand that choice. At the same time, if they redesigned it with that in mind, that could make it an even better game than it already is, in my opinion. Because I don't necessarily mind the teleport only if the game is designed that way, and it doesn't feel like, well, they're just doing that because they don't know or they're worried about motion sickness or whatever, so they don't include the other as an option. Well, to include the other as an option in those cases, but if it's actually designed around being a teleport only game, then it can work. And in this case, my opinion, it does work, because given that you're in a room scale headset, you can actually walk around just physically walking around as well. And get a different view, or so. The other thing is you can only interact with objects that you are supposed to interact with. So there's no random achievements like in Westworld Awakening, where you put on the cowboy hat or whatever, which has nothing to do with the game and nothing to do with the story. It's just you can do it. You know, so it has got no random, just for fun interactions as far as I've been able to see so far. Everything you can interact with is something that you are supposed to be able to interact with.
Okay.
Which is a design decision, and that's how it is in the mobile game also. To my understanding is you see a piece of paper on the desk, but it has nothing to do with solving the puzzle. You can to grab for it all you want, but they won't let you grab it.
Well, that makes sense, though. I mean, to some degree, especially if it's room
Right.
size scale and they have enough objects in there, yes, you would get frustrated trying to grab at everything and not know if you missed the one item that you needed to get to the next spot. So
Right.
I guess the choices you're saying are basically two different sides of the same coin. They go with each other. If you're
Right.
going to
Right.
guide the person, then you're going to guide them to where they need to be,
Right.
as opposed to
Right.
some alternate.
And there are other ways of guiding the players, like making objects glow, providing hints of over there, etc. But if they changed too much, then it wouldn't feel like it's in the same franchise as the other games. So my guess is that for this one, they played it safe, but they might in future VR versions expand some. I don't know, and and give more options or do it a little bit differently. It's based on the feedback that they get. So
Yeah, some studios are operating very differently because as soon as you
right,
said that, I was thinking of Servios and Battle Wake, and I was thinking of some other companies that have fallen behind in
yeah,
being able to adapt what they thought would be good VR to the right
right,
format for VR.
right. You always got to be willing to listen to your customer base and find out what's working and what's not working. Now, I have been playing that, and it's a very good game. The puzzles are challenging as opposed to, oh, okay, yeah.
Right, right.
So is and I played it for I think 3 hours, 3.5 hours, or something like that so far, and I'm only in the second environment in the game. I'm not sure how many there are, but I think there's at least three, maybe four. So I'm not sure, but you to start off in what you've seen in the trailer, the archaeology room,
Hmm.
and you have to solve all the puzzles in there, and then you move on to another environment, which in this case is a church.
Okay.
And I don't know what the other environments are because I haven't gotten to them yet. And um, it's a gorgeous the graphics. Everything looks beautiful. Sound design is good. Um, uh, the interactions are, for the most part, just pretty good too. So some of it is a little bit weird. Like I reach out with my hand so this way, and as soon as I grab my my virtual hand goes or whatever, yeah, because that's
Uh,
the attachment grip that they thought made the sense for it. You know,
okay.
whereas what I say you have a lever that needs to be moved to like that, right? Well, I might reach out for it like that, right? But
Hmm.
they have it attached like this and move. Oh,
Gotcha.
well, my hand is in this shape in reality, so that's
A
a
little
little
break in
bit
the
of
immersion.
a potential design flaw that breaks immersion a little bit,
Hmm.
but it's not really that big a deal. It's just, that's something that is just a minor quibble.
Yeah, but it goes right back into the same design thing. The same way
Right,
they lead you to some place, the same way they lead you to the object is the same way they want you to grab that object. It
right,
certainly sounds
right.
pretty controlling.
Yep, that that's how it is. Yep. But moving on to another puzzle game, we have Down the Rabbit Hole, which is completely opposite in look and feel, where the room VR at Dark Matter is very dark and atmospheric. Down the Rabbit Hole is much lighter and funnier, just like the original source material by T.S. Eliot. Oh wait, I made the same mistake Upload VR made by Lewis Carroll. So
That's
I
how
just
the
had to
world
get that in
ends
there.
that's how the world ends.
Upload VR originally published it as saying T.S. Eliot created Alice in Wonderland, and then they corrected it to Lewis Carroll. I just thought it made for an amusing joke. That's all. Anyways,
Right.
um, this is a much more lighthearted tale and much more colorful, bright designs. And as you've seen in the trailers and probably gameplays and whatnot, uh, the world is like uh, unfolding around you, and you pull yourself down with roots, and you rotate the world around you so by grabbing on to the roots, and you are controlling the girl and her companion characters, the four and a half, of spades with uh, the thumbstick on your controller,
Hmm.
and periodically you get into a first person interaction. It's it's usually a dialogue scene that you are in a first person interaction with, and periodically you are are required to reach out and interact with things on behalf of, of the characters. Like there's one part where you have to reach out and ring bells to make doors shift,
Okay.
or there might be a place where you have to reach out and knock a spoon over so that it acts as a bridge for the characters.
Oh, so like in Moss or in other games or Ghost Giant, I assume, or
Right,
other games where you're the
right.
third person, you're breaking the wall, I guess.
Yeah. Now, in this one, they do a different kind of guiding you to what you need to do, things that they want you to reach out and and touch. They put a little glow or uh, sparkle effect or swirl effect, whatever you want to call it around is, so you know, oh, reach out and touch that,
Right.
and then it does the action it's supposed to do. So,
Okay.
and you have to reach out and to touch things because that's how the girl finds most of the cards. Is you have to dislodge them from where they are. Some of them are, say, up in the top of the environment, so you have to go and knock it loose, or they might be behind rocks, or you know. So
Okay. It sounds kind of cool so far.
yeah, most of the puzzles are fairly easy, but I'm used to puzzle games, and so I don't know if that's just because of my experience with it, or because they actually are easy. You know, your mileage may vary. I find them to be pretty easy. Some of them are a little bordering medium to difficulty. But so this is much more just a casual puzzle game, as it were. The Room VR is a more serious, heavy puzzler. So this one's a more light-hearted and casual one. And it's also only about 2 hours long if you go through it all in one sitting. But it promises that it's got replay value because you can go back and make different choices along the way, or if you didn't gather all of the invitations, you can go back and play it again and gather all of the invitations because it's got 3 different possible endings.
Oh, okay. Are they actually different, or are they the same, or
Uh,
just minimal variation?
I didn't go and try all of the different endings, but I don't want to spoil the ending for anyone, but you are given a choice of the 3 endings when you get to the ending, or
Oh,
at least I was in the beta of it, So
okay. So, but that's not saying much for its replayability if you never went back to see the other
well,
endings.
I was that's me because the puzzles themselves don't change
Right.
when you go back and do it again.
That's the
So
problem
the
with every
puzzles are the
puzzle.
same. So, and the story until the end is the same. It's just if you get all of the invitations or not that is different, or if you make different choices, like okay, this time instead of a cat, I want the pet to be a lizard or a turtle, or
And
so.
that could make a difference.
Right. It doesn't really make a difference in the progression of the story. It,
Right.
it makes a difference as to the graphics and whatnot, but so,
Okay.
but
Yeah, that's
I would recommend it. It's a little higher price than what I would really think is worth. I would have had it more at the $15 level rather than at the $20 level. Just because it's a 2 hour experience, and $15 is much more a movie ticket price than $20. I mean, it depends on what what theater you are going to, and I'm not including getting some popcorn and drinks and whatnot, just the price of the ticket itself.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, which is weird because I've noticed that a lot of them, like Amazon and a few companies, they'll now rent you the movie that's in the theater, or would have
Right.
been in the theater if it was open,
Right.
but for $20 for the download,
Right.
to rent it.
Which
So
is
it's like,
more than going to the movie would have cost at the theater.
exactly, unless you have the entire neighborhood, which is the whole opposite idea of social distancing.
Hmm.
So,
Well,
yeah,
no,
that
just
seems to be.
get a really powerful projector, projected on the side of someone's house, and have everybody watch from out of the windows,
Hey,
and really, really loud speakers.
you see, I should have called you before I made the decision not to rent that movie. But I think it's kind of intriguing the way that they're doing that. Disney, on the other hand, is actually showing some of their newer movies on their Disney Plus channel.
Yep.
So that's been
Yep.
very nice on their part. Amazing that Disney has been the generous one. So not usually
Yeah.
known for that,
True.
but they've
True.
opened up their treasure trove, I guess, to people.
Right. Now we have B Team that came out as well. I haven't. I did not get that yet, so I don't have any direct experience. I haven't seen a lot of talk about it, but that's probably because it got overshadowed by the Room VR. It got overshadowed by Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, you think?
Yeah,
I didn't even
everything
see
got
it get
overshadowed by
mentioned. I mean, I saw the possibility that it might come out, but I didn't even see it like hyped. I mean, now it's under their
Right.
spotlight.
And the description sounds like it's still an on rails experience, which I'm sorry, but in the days of the Quest, I don't know that that's acceptable. You know.
I know. I was wondering because the B team was just okay on the go.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a major seller
Right.
there. As to why they decided to try and drop it on the go without taking it off. I mean, on the Quest without
Right.
taking it off rails. I don't know. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I don't know either. Maybe they're a limited size team and they didn't have the, the budget to do more than that. All they had the budget and the time for was converting it and adding the statistics stuff to controller interactions. I don't know, but I am looking at it right now on the Oculus Store, and it has 33% 3-star ratings and 67% 2-star ratings.
That's really not much of
No, it's not.
I would
One
have to
of the
say.
reviews is comparing it to a first-person temple run times 4. And it says it's a first-person rail game where you push forward like on a conveyor belt. And you have to avoid obstacles against every now and then, evidently, and you are switching between characters. So yeah, it doesn't sound like it's really that much different from the Go version, except in what you can do with your hands, I guess. So
Yeah.
I would say this one's probably a pass. On the other hand, it's only got 3 ratings, 3 reviews. So, that means 2 reviews were 2 stars, 1 was a 3-star.
Oh man, that is. We'll hold off on that one
Yeah.
until the developers would like to give us a copy, and we'll review it honestly and fairly,
Yes.
no matter how painful it might be, and hopefully we'll
For us.
enjoy it. Exactly. We'll take it for the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other new release for the Quest actually came out before the other ones did, which was a little bit weird. It came out like a day or 2 before. I thought it
Totally.
was coming out on the 26th, but it came out a little bit before that. It's Color Space. It's another very short title, but it's priced accordingly at $9.99, and it's a very, very well done title. It's not necessarily for everyone because it is a coloring book in VR, and if you're not a fan of coloring book apps on the phone or coloring books in real life, then it might not be for you. But it got very well done art by the one and only Danny Bittman.
Truly the one and only Danny Bittman.
Yes.
He's risen to fame in the
Yeah.
VR art world.
Yep. And it's got great music, and it's very well done, as I already mentioned, and I'm repeating myself, and I'm repeating myself, and I'm repeating myself. Oh, wait, sorry.
That's okay. I was just listening to you repeat yourself.
Okay. But no, the interactions in it are very cool because by the coloring in certain objects, you kind of unlock other objects in the scene, and they all of a sudden sprout up and are available to be colored. And as you color, the world starts to come to life around you. Like you could color in a ladybug and the leaf and the water, and then the leaf starts drifting on the water with the ladybug on it, and you color in a flower, and now the ladybug flies off of the leaf and goes to the flower. So as you are coloring it, certain things come to life, and whenever you put down the color, there's a musical note as well that blends in with the background music. So you're kind of creating an impromptu melody on top of the background music. So it's got a little bit of that music creation feel to it as well. The only thing is short. And there are only 13 things or pages or scenes, whatever you want to call them, to color right now. I think there will be more in the future, but I'm not sure when. I know that there was an update this week where they added new color palette to it, so that you have more options for the colors instead of like 16 colors and then 32 if you flip to the other side. Now you've got like 64 colors, and you can have it be like almost white and almost black on each color. So, and you have shades of gray and black available as well. So
okay, sounds kind of cool. I mean, 64 colors got you through a nice box of Crayola when you were coloring. So.
Yep. So it's what an app, and it does what it says it does, and is very relaxing and soothing. And I did a live stream of that this week as well. So
I was going to say, it sounds like you enjoyed this the most of any of the games that you've played, to be honest with you. This is the first one I've seen you get really sort of excited about.
Well, I got excited earlier in the pre-show about the Room VR. No.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have Half-Life Alyx, which a lot of people, surprisingly, have already beat because... Wait, it's not surprising. They've got nothing else to do right now.
That's true. If you were ever going to pick up a game to last you a week, this would have been the week. Or maybe next week, too. We'll see.
Yeah. From everything that I have heard, it's a very good game. There are people spoiling it already on YouTube. So if you watch a video about it, be prepared to have to ignore a whole bunch of things, because you'll get a whole bunch of videos about it, and you recommended. At least one of which reportedly spoils the ending in the title of the video and the thumbnail. Eric for President made a video to talking about that. I'm like, really? I don't mind spoilers, but I know a lot of people do, and including the nature of the ending in the title of your video, people can't unsee that.
Exactly.
Unless they have a really bad memory.
Really bad. And Prevagen. I understand Prevagen works fine.
So, anyways, I've been slowly watching a Wolf in VR do his playthrough of it, because he didn't do it in one big long 8-hour live stream. He's doing approximately 1 hour edited videos every week. So it's like a Netflix, watching it in episodes.
Oh, no binge watching? I don't know. That doesn't fit in with the actual mode of Netflix. More of CBS All Access.
But I'm mainly watching it because I'm probably not going to get it because it's a $60 game, and right now I can't play continuously for more than like 10 minutes on Shadow with Virtual Desktop anyways, so it'll be a wasted to purchase because I have to stop 10 minutes, disconnect, reconnect, go back in, and that would just take too much of the enjoyment out of it with this long a game. I was able to do that with Doctor Who, The Edge of Time, but that's a much shorter game. If I had to do that for as long a game as Half-Life Alyx, I don't know if I'd want to keep doing that, honestly.
I understand, of course. But, and also, like you said, the $60 price tag's a little chunky.
Yep.
Which I'm sure will come down. Once again, everything
Eventually.
So, but it's kind of weird reading about people saying it's the game of the year, and it's only the end of March.
Well, they are anticipating the end of the year, the voting and whatnot, and thinking that it might win. But no. So far, for a lot of people, it does seem to be the game of the of the year.
Right.
It remains to be seen whether another game comes out that supplants it, but I have to say there probably won't be. I mean, I would love to be surprised, and I would love for the game that supplants it to be a native Quest game, because that would be awesome.
Yes.
But I'm not holding my breath that there's going to be a game that supplants it this year. So.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. At this point, there's enough companies out there that are working towards AAA games that at least one or two more should come out, I would think, this year.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But, Half-Life was always a premier video game from the time it came out. And it's nice that they kept, obviously, the integrity of the game. Otherwise, it wouldn't have so many viewers. It became #1 on stream this week for the first time. The first non-pancake game.
The first non-Beat Saber VR game, huh?
Right, exactly. People were actually playing something. Although I have to say, I have a whole new regard for Beat Saber during this lock-in.
Yeah.
It is one of the games that I do jump into every now and then just to get rid of some excess nervousness or anxiety, stress, whatever. And let's see, what else do we have on the?
Well, I was about to go into that. We have upcoming titles. Nothing new here, and as far as we know, it's the same upcoming titles we already knew about. Echo VR closed alpha is still going on. I believe they are going to be sending out another wave of invites. They're going to be doing that periodically. I don't know for how long. We have Lies Beneath, which is coming out this next week, I believe. And then Phantom Covert Ops coming out in June.
Right, which is a pretty long spacing of the game. So
yeah, I'm sure there are other games coming out in between Lies Beneath and Phantom Covert Ops. I just don't know what they are.
Right, none of us. And a lot of us won't know until a minute after they're released, the way that Oculus has been going about it. So
yeah, it seems like it.
Like the B team.
Not really a whole lot more to be said about those, because I don't think we've gotten really any new information or gameplay trailers of those. So let's move on to the news.
Okay.
On Upload VR, I read an article talking about how Linden Lab sold Sansar, and they are focusing on Second Life. So the company that they sold Sansar to, I forget the name of it, but it was one that they hadn't really heard of, or that hadn't really been on the um, horizon before.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, there's no change in, there's no interruption in the service or the nature of Sansar. It remains to be seen how that will progress, obviously, because things often start out that way, and then as the new company gets a better feel for it, they start changing things. So we'll see. But that is interesting. I would say it doesn't necessarily bode ill for the industry. Yeah, they sold the Sansar to Wookiee Project, Wookey, not Wookiee like from the Star Wars, as far as I know. But
Sounds like they might be related on some level, but
I know maybe is Wookiee Project, the corporation, which has assumed all operations without service interruption. So it remains to be seen how this impacts and if they're going to change or not. But Upload handed the article with an interesting question. With the implosion of high fidelity, explosion in popularity of VR chat, continued evolution of Rec Room, reliability of Allspace, and new platforms like ScienceSpace rising up, what do you think of the current social VR landscape? I think it
exists.
thriving. Some companies are failing, and I think there's a lot involved in why Linden Lab sold, and they couldn't keep it going. They had big dreams for it, but then I think people resented that they didn't just make the Second Life into VR.
Exactly.
And so they were full of hate for it, and it was causing a schism, and they couldn't juggle both of those for very long, and then they decided to go back to the core, which is Second Life.
Well, remember, Second Life has been around forever at this point.
And there are businesses that exist only in Second Life.
I know. I know. And yes, you're right. I think that there was a very big surprise that it did not go VR because it was perfectly positioned.
Yeah, I mean, there was already an Oculus Rift, the plugin for it.
Wow.
You know, a mod.
I didn't even know
basically.
That. Right.
Well, yeah. In the early days, I was like, if only I could make that work with my Gear VR, that'd be awesome. But no, they're too afraid of motion sickness, and I don't get motion sick. I don't care. Let me just do it. Well, I never did to find a way of doing it. So.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, I would not be surprised to see Second Life come into VR once again. It's a natural.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would obviously be a PC only, you know, it wouldn't be on the Quest. I mean, PCs can barely handle the Second Life sometimes.
I know.
I remember my wife one time was going shopping for shoes at the biggest and best shoe store there in VR, or Second Life rather. And they had a notice to the people teleporting in: remove everything from your avatar. Have no shoes, have no prims on you, have no objects, basically just walk around in your underwear and your bra with no hair, because there are so many people here, it's lagging the servers so much that all this, we need to keep the Supreme count down.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's servers are going to be a major
Yeah,
player in this, being a functioning society. So when you
right.
talk about what's the state of social gatherings, I guess, in VR,
Yeah.
pretty primitive compared to
Well,
what they
yeah,
can be.
it's got a long way to go still, but it exists. It's
But it
thriving.
exists. Right.
It's improving. It's getting better.
Right.
Yeah.
We got the gravel down. We have on ramps. We have off ramps. A few places to hang out. So yeah, there's an infrastructure that's starting.
Hmm.
It just has to be expanded on.
Yeah. In other news, as most of you probably already know, Oculus version 15 is rolling out slowly as usual.
Slowly rolling out.
Yep. And in a weird turn of event, some people, including me, are seeing the uh, to tap to enable pass through
Hmm.
show up in experimental options, even though we are on version 14 still. And when you enable it, it doesn't do anything.
So you see it, you can enable it, it just doesn't function.
Yeah, like last night,
Wow.
I'm there testing it out, and I'm going, nope, nope, no.
Now, if you had put the headset on first, it might have worked better.
I tried that later.
Oh, good.
So,
Um,
it's coming. Be patient. There are a lot of it's not as flashy an update as the hand tracking one, but there are a lot of cool features in it, like the double tap for the pass through. It's got more social stuff added in there, and so and of course
multi-screens.
the new Oculus home screen, which is smaller and narrower, but allows for some multitasking, I believe. So it's I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when I'm going to get it. I'm usually toward the end of the rollout, so I'm
Yeah,
hoping to get it by the
we
end of
never
next
really
week.
know. Right? Yeah, well, it's strange though, because you're talking about it rolling out, and they're rolling out the title, they're rolling out the ability to enable, or yeah, but they're not actually giving you the. Usually, a rollout implies that you'll be getting that package, and then somebody else will get that package. Not that you'll be getting a piece of the package while other
Oh
people are getting
yeah, it's
pieces.
a little bit strange rollout this time. Yeah, and also I'm still waiting on the scoreboards app. That's the slowest rollout ever. I still
No,
haven't
not
gotten it, and it's been out for some people for like a month and a half now.
and not to have Horizons functioning yet is
Yep.
sort of like it's March, guys. This was supposed
Yeah.
to be a beginning of the year thing.
Yeah. You're running out of time to be in the first quarter.
Very quickly,
Yes. Like in 2 days.
something like
So
that.
another bit of news. Well, for 3 days. Nreal opens a new optics factory in Wuxi City, China, and it says 1 million units by the end of the year. So things are looking better in China. They're on the opposite end of the bell curve now. And so things are starting to reopen there, and Real says that they're basically optimistic that they'll be able to have 1 million units of their AR glasses by the end of the year. So and then like 2 million or something like that per year, or I forget the exact amount, but no, it's like a good production rate is what it's looking forward to. So that's positive news. Another bit of news: IEEEEE. Oh wait, IEEEVR just ended. They held it in VR and on Twitch. Most of the talks and the lectures were pre-recorded presentations that they streamed on Twitch. And the NVR part was you were in a room with other people watching Twitch. And basically, you were watching the same presentation in the exact same format as the Twitch viewers were. So it wasn't necessarily the best implementation of it, but at least it was using VR to hold a conference. And they had the social gathering rooms where people would go and chat with each other and network and all the same things that you would do at a regular conference. So, yeah, and they had poster rooms where there was informational posters and videos about a project a team was working on, and there was a representative there to answer questions. So, it's not the most and best and greatest use of VR, but it's a start, and I'm sure that'll improve. And it was held in Mozilla Hubs, which you and I are very familiar with. So that's a positive step. They managed to pull it off with just about 2,000 participants. Not all in the same room at the same time, obviously, but yeah.
Right. I was going to say 2,000 would be one heck of an advancement, but still.
Yeah. Nvidia is developing a lightweight VR gaze tracking system using LED sensors. Not quite as performant as the more advanced gaze and eye tracking. But what they are doing is they are taking advantage of a property of LEDs, which is they can both send and receive light.
Correct.
So it cuts out some of the processing and the extra sensors needed and the bulk and all of that. So it's a more lightweight, more affordable, more energy efficient way of doing it. And so for lower end devices, it would be perfect. It's not necessarily going to be fast enough for, say, I don't know, medical or industrial use or whatever, but for casual, everyday stuff, it should work fine.
Right. For consumer use, it should be great.
Right.
It should be great.
Right, and they're testing two variations of it. One is where they've got three LED sending out lights and 3 or 6 or so that are receiving, and they've got one where there's 6 lights and they're all sending and receiving, and they're seeing which one works better, gets the best result. So. It's promising. Who knows if we'll see that in a headset anytime soon. It would be nice if we did, but...
right. Well, we're hoping for Q4, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. And if you were ever a fan of Star Trek Voyager, and you remember the holographic Doctor...
I do. I wasn't. Let's just say Voyager is sort of low on my list of Star Treks. I could.
Yeah. I tried to get into that. I couldn't really get into it.
Why not Chakotay?
So, anyways, Silver Chain Group in Australia has come out with an app, with an EMMR app for HoloLens. EMMR stands for Enhanced Medical Mixed Reality. is designed to empower nursing staff while on home visits with hands-free data, and also to ease access to specialist advice and assessments from remote specialist doctors. And they have a promo video showing an elderly patient in a chair, his wife standing next to him, and a nurse examining him, and she's wearing a HoloLens and pulling up information and being able to reach out and do this or that with it, and send a video feed to the doctor so that he can see the back of her neck, which is the problem area or whatever. And it also shows that, I guess, the patients can also see a holographic view of the doctor if they're wearing it, and they can have face-to-face consultation with a holographic doctor, a la Star Trek Voyager.
I remember when they used to call that house calls.
Yeah. That was
but
a
yes,
couch call.
That was a couch call. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, having a holographic doctor is probably not something that's difficult to create.
Yeah.
I mean, we have all of the Alexa, Google devices, so I don't see why one of them shouldn't be able to create a little old holographic doctor.
Yeah, and they are working on holographic interfaces for those as well. If you're wearing smart glasses, you'll be able to someday, when you say Alexa, whatever, Alexa will go, here I am, what do you want? And it'll be an actual person.
Face, right.
Right.
We're going to start seeing faces of Alexa and Google and Siri. I don't know that I want to do that.
I know. But yeah, that is being worked on. Whether it's a good idea or not is another story altogether. It's being worked on.
Right. Well, it's nice. I mean, once again, as I was having a discussion with a friend the other night, we're living in he was saying it's amazing how much we're living in a Star Trek type world. And I said, considering that the architects were all raised on Star Trek, no, it's not unusual at all.
Well, yeah. Well, you know how we used to have flip phones?
Yep.
Tricorder.
If you can find the show on TV, which is a great show, it was called How William Shatner Changed the Universe. And sure.
I muted a little bit by closing the door all the way.
Yeah, it's okay. We can live with him. Everybody's got to get their yayas out. But it was called How William Shatner Changed the Universe. And it's all of these stories about the guy with the flip phone. It's the guy who's the head of the Jet Propulsion Laboratories who didn't even think of the idea of ion propulsion until he was watching an episode of Star Trek. So, I mean, yes, pretty much. We bought our own holodecks. You have yours, I have mine. Yeah.
They're not perfect yet, but they are getting there.
That's true.
But yeah, we don't have our flying cars yet, but we have them in VR if we really want to.
Not only that, we could meet up on the bridge on the Enterprise in a little bit if we want to, or the Aegis, and go flying off. So.
Yep. This is true. And in another bit of news, and something I am working on, there is a Stay Safe game jam that started Friday at 5 and is going until Sunday at 4. But by the time this video comes out, it'll be almost over. So my apologies, but I am using Gravity Sketch with a team of Portuguese-speaking people, the Gravity Sketch and the Tool Brush, and if they need additional coding, I can help out a little bit with that too. So we're working on that. That's a good way to keep busy during all this. Is if you are at all interested in making games and helping progress the the state of VR further, go join a game jam. There's a ton of them going on right now because everyone's at home going,
Right.
So,
no, it sounds like a very worthwhile thing to jump into.
Yeah, and it has not only the programming that is needed is artwork, is voice talent, is musical talent. So if you've got any of that, so they need you in the game jams. So.
Perfect. And how does somebody get involved in that?
Well, a lot of them are on itch.io. You just go to itch.io and the whole list of game jams you can look through and then join. You might, if you're going through that route, you'll want to create an itch.io account, so you can officially be counted as being in the game jam, but you can also participate without being a member of there and just not submit it, to be voted on as a winning or not winning app or whatever. So.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you get in the winning category.
It'd be nice if we did, but yeah, we're working on a quest game, so.
Cool. That would be really excellent.
And meanwhile, Michael is involved in the Gravity Sketch co-creation beta. They are encouraged to talk about it and share things. So he's been sharing things in the Gravity Sketch Discord. A lot of people have their various teams, I guess, and there's going to be, I guess, there's a competition involved with it. Mm-hmm. And it's not all the way ready for prime time yet, but it's where you can be with other people within Gravity Sketch and work on a sketch together.
Excellent. Really excellent.
Yep.
And perfect timing once again.
Yep. So Sculptor VR has that already. You can have 4 people in a Sculptor VR environment together, all working on different things and talking with each other. And now Gravity Sketch is working on making that available to the masses. They've already had a prototype of it available for the enterprise customers, but now they're working on bringing it to the more consumer level.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I thought that was available.
Yeah, and now we just need Tilt Brush to do it. So I can hit VR Rosie up and say, hey, teach me how to do what you do.
Oh, yeah. It would be an amazing feature, huh? I would love to do some amazing stuff.
Yeah. Or Danny Bittman will be able to sell his time as an MVR tutor.
That's true.
Charged by the hour.
Oof. Well, yeah, as long as he gets paid in Bitcoin, he's Danny Bittman, so Bitcoin,
maybe.
Bitcoin.
So, anyways, that brings us to the end of today's podcast.
You'll be forgiven this time. Never again, so keep that in mind.
Oh, okay. I will never refer to this broadcast as a broadcast again.
That's good. It's a narrow cast.
Okay. So anyways.
Yes.
Remember, like, subscribe. Feel free to reply in the comments with anything that you think we missed or what you think about what we said. If you agree, if you disagree, if you had pizza for lunch and just wanted to let us know that you had pizza for lunch.
Oh, go. That one's for you.
We'll take that one too. So, enjoy. Have a great rest of your weekend or week or whatever, whenever you watch this.
Join in the community games, and we'll see you next week.